We live on a blue planet that circles this giant ball of fire next to a moon that causes the oceans to move. And you still don't believe in a miracle. These are immortal words by George Carlin. Good morning. A miracle is something that is not supposed to happen, but it does. Or so I was told by someone I immensely respect. Today, I want to introduce you to a miracle 75 years in the making. Actually, the beginnings of this miracle started somewhere in 1930 when a certain economist by the name of Lasky met a person who answered to the name of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. The world would know him as Mahatma Gandhi. So Lasky approached Gandhi and said, Mr. Gandhi, I do not understand your demand for freedom. You see, the British have brought some sort of an order to your country. And my fear is that should we leave, should the British leave, you will go back to what you were, a land of anarchy, a land of corruption, a land of communal differences. People will be baying for each other's blood, and you will be torn apart. India as a concept will cease to exist. He said something like that. And then he said, I really don't understand your demand for this freedom. Now, Gandhi was a quiet person. So he absorbed everything that Lasky said. Then he took his time and he responded. And he said, Mr. Lasky, everything that you said might come true. And yes, India might become a land of the corrupt, the anarchists, and every other adjective that you have used. But you know what? It's no longer going to be your problem. It's going to be our problem. As we celebrate the 75th year of independence today, I want you to pause, reflect, look back at a miracle called India. Because if you look at what Lasky said, most of it did happen. We've suffered anarchy, we've suffered corruption, we've suffered communal differences. We've gone through a lot. Our forefathers have gone through a lot. Some of us have gone through more than others. And at a level, we think that the world owes us something. But what the world probably does not realize is that we are a nation of more than 1 billion people. And each of those persons has an opinion of running this country in their own unique way, sometimes in their own unique selfish way. The point I'm trying to make is that we are a nation of at least 1 billion opinions every second, each opinion trying to pull the country in its own direction. For example, some of us find value in the Western system of education. There are others who say that no, the Indian system of education, it has been ignored for so long. We should try that. When we study science, we have our own theories. As Indians, we have our own theories about the creation of the universe. Then, of course, there is food. the great uniting factor amongst us all? Or is it? We have non-vegetarians, we have vegetarians, we have vegans, we have every kind of a food opinion. Billions of them, each trying to pull the country in its own direction. And if each of these opinions had the power, then like Lasky said, it could have torn the country apart. But here we are, a thriving, not just surviving democracy. Every morning, India wakes up. Every morning, India is subjected to billions of opinions, each trying to pull the country in its own direction. And yet, by the end of every day, India manages to take a step forward. Well, maybe sometimes we do take a couple of steps backward, but we do manage to find a way forward. Our eyes are always towards the future. And a lot of people will say, not really. There's so much to be done. There's so much that could have been done. Look at the United States, look at the United Kingdom, look at any other country. What people do not understand is that as a democracy, United States and United Kingdom have been around for centuries. India has been a democracy for 75 years only. And in terms of being a democracy, India is still an adolescent, a teenager. And it is going through what we call a teenage turmoil. Maybe it will take my lifetime to find an identity. Maybe it will take more than my lifetime to find a common purpose. But one thing that I can be sure of is that every morning India will wake up subject to opinions and still manage to find a way forward. And that is a miracle. Like someone said to me, a miracle is something that is not supposed to happen, but it does. The kind of presence that India enjoys on the world stage is a miracle in itself. If you look at our neighbors, they're not exactly the shining epitomes of democracy. And yet, amongst all of them, India is able to establish its identity as a democracy, and not just a democracy, like I said, a thriving democracy. So today, while you can reflect back on the mistakes you have made, I urge you to look forward, not to look how far we are to go or where we are supposed to go, but to reflect, to look back and see how far we have come. Today is a day to celebrate a miracle called India. And if you still don't believe in miracles, remember what George Carlin said. We live on a blue planet, circling a giant ball of fire, next to a moon that causes the oceans to move. And you still don't believe in miracles. Let's believe in miracles. Happy Independence Day. Happy 75th Independence Day.